The boy stood frozen in the hallway, clutching a folded piece of paper so tightly his knuckles had gone white. Around him, lockers slammed and laughter echoed, but all the noise faded as he stared at the woman at the end of the corridor. The nurse, with tired eyes and a gentle smile, who always worked the late shift at the free clinic near his school. He swallowed hard, took a shaky step forward, and spoke the words that would change both of their lives. Would you be my date to the dance? Ethan Parker had learned early how to survive on very little. His mother died when he was 10, his father disappeared soon after, and life became a series of borrowed couches, thrift store clothes, and nights spent doing homework under flickering lights at the shelter. He was smart, top of his class actually, but being poor had a way of making people invisible. At school, teachers praised him quietly. Classmates barely noticed him. Dances were things other kids talked about, not things he attended. Until this year. Until his class voted him most likely to succeed, a title that felt more like a joke than a promise. The winter formal was coming up, and for the first time, Ethan wanted to go. Not to fit in, but to prove to himself most of all that he belonged somewhere. The problem was obvious. He had no money, no car, no fancy clothes, and certainly no date. Then there was her, Clara. She worked evenings at the clinic where Ethan volunteered after school to earn community service credits and a free meal. She wore plain scrubs, kept her hair tied back, and never complained. Even when patients yelled or cried, she always listened. When Ethan came in with bruised hands from working odd jobs, she cleaned them carefully. When he fell asleep in the waiting room, she draped a blanket over him. To Ethan, she wasn't just a nurse, she was safety. He didn't know her last name. He didn't know she drove a modest car on purpose, or that she lived in a small apartment by choice. He certainly didn't know she was the daughter of one of the most powerful CEOs in the city, a man whose name sat atop hospital wings and scholarship foundations. To Ethan, she was just Clara, the woman who made him feel seen. Clara froze when he asked. For a heartbeat, she thought she'd misheard him. The boy standing in front of her was all elbows and nerves, his jacket a size too big, his eyes hopeful and terrified all at once. She saw the folded paper in his hand, the way his shoulders hunched as if bracing for laughter. Her first instinct was to protect him from embarrassment. Ethan, she said gently, I'm a little older than you. I know, he rushed, his face burning. I mean, not like a real date, just go with me, as a friend. Everyone else is bringing someone. I don't want to go alone. He held out the paper. Inside was a handwritten invitation, complete with a stick-figure drawing of them standing under disco lights. You don't have to say yes. Clara felt something tighten in her chest. She remembered being invisible once, to be, before she shed her last name, before she chose scrubs over suits, service over boardrooms. She remembered how lonely it felt to want something simple and be afraid to ask for it. I'll go, she said softly. Ethan blinked. You will? She smiled. Yes, I'll be your date. Word spread fast. By the next day, rumors buzzed through the school. Some kids laughed, others whispered. Teachers raised eyebrows but found nothing against the rules. Ethan kept his head down, pretending not to hear the jokes, but inside, something fragile, bloomed hope. For the first time, he borrowed a suit from a donation closet, polished his worn shoes, and practiced standing straight in the mirror. Clara helped him pick a tie. Blue, she said. It brings out your eyes. What Ethan didn't see were the messages flooding Clara's phone. Photos, comments, questions. Someone recognized her. Someone always did eventually. Isn't that you? Are you with a student? Does your father know? Clara ignored them, all until one message came from a number she had Dante saved but knew by heart. We need to talk. Her father, Richard Hale, didn't yell often. He didn't need to. His disappointment carried more weight than anger ever could. When Clara finally answered his call, his voice was calm, controlled, and sharp. He had seen the photos. He knew about the dance, demanded an explanation. I'm going as a friend, Clara said. He's a good kid. He needs this. It's inappropriate, Richard replied, and reckless. People are already talking. People always talk, she said quietly. You taught me that. There was a pause. You're forgetting who you are. No, Clara said, remembering. The night of the dance arrived cold and bright. Ethan waited outside the gym, hands shaking, convinced she wouldn't come. Then a simple car pulled up. Clara stepped out in a modest dress, no jewelry, no designer labels, just warmth in her smile. Ethan exhaled, relief flooding him.
Ow.
Inside, the gym glittered. Lights flashed, music pulsed, and for a moment, Ethan felt completely out of place. Then Clara offered her arm. Ready? They danced. Awkwardly at first, then freely they laughed. They talked. For those few hours, Ethan forgot about money and hunger and being alone. Felt normal. Worthy. Halfway through the night, the doors opened again. The music faltered as a tall man in an expensive coat walked in. Whispers rippled across the room. Teacher stiffened. Clara's smile faded. Richard Hale stood there, his presence commanding silence. He walked straight toward them. Ethan felt the room closing in. He stepped back instinctively, already preparing an apology he didn't fully understand. "I'm sorry," he said, voice cracking. "I didn't know." Richard stopped in front of him, looked him up and down. Then unexpectedly, he turned to Clara. "Is this him?" as she said evenly. Richard nodded once. He turned back to Ethan. "Young man," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "do you know why my daughter is here with you?" Ethan swallowed. Because she was kind enough to say yes. Richard studied his face, the fear, the sincerity, the quiet dignity. Something shifted.
No.
He cleared his throat. "She's here," he said, "because you were brave enough to ask." The room was silent. "Tonight you reminded me." He extended his hand. "Enjoy your dance." Ethan shook it, stunned. After the dance, Richard made a decision that surprised everyone, including himself. Funded a scholarship in Ethan's name. Not because Ethan was poor, but because he was courageous. It's because he dared to hope. Years later, Ethan would stand on a graduation stage, confident and proud, his future wide open. Clara would be there, clapping, tears in her eyes.
Ah.
And Richard would sit beside her, quieter now, wiser. Because sometimes the smallest question, asked by someone with nothing to lose, can change everything. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires. We'll see you in the next video.